Now, I seem to recall from my research that asbestos cases have, excuse me, yielded verdicts of up to, what was it, like $500 billion, or maybe it's $250 billion during the course of all these trials and decisions. That's a whole lot of money. Who's paying this money?
Insurance companies, generally. The insurance companies, for the companies, generally pay for these claims. As I indicated, some of the defendants are bankrupt, and in the
companies themselves,
they are,
and the shipbuilders, the piping companies, those guys are out.
That's correct.
But they had insurance at the time.
They had insurance, and in order to emerge from bankruptcy and continue to do business, they approached the courts. Trusts were set up. These trusts contain that insurance money, and there's a claims-made process for paying those who have diseases.
What about the shipbuilding company that went out of business long before asbestos was known about as a suable disease? Are those clients just out of luck because there was no trust fund set up when those
Yes.
companies went out of business?
Yes.
So they're out of luck. So the only ones that you can get compensation for are the companies that had insurance and that they knew that they were already being litigated on this, and so something was set up, and now here it is years and years later, and this is where attorneys come in.
Yes, the defendants who are solvent have insurance. Others are still very wealthy. There's a lot of very successful companies who are settling claims alleging asbestos exposure. There are others that have, again, established these trusts, and that the universe of funds available is invested, and it continues to pay out on claims.
Mm-hmm. Now we're going to hit something that's maybe a little touchy to an attorney, but it is well known throughout the country, and certainly in this area, that Illinois, Madison County in particular, is a good place to bring a lawsuit. Is that why many of these asbestos cases are being tried in Edwardsville courts?
The reason there are a lot of lawsuits tried in Madison County is because we have established a system that allows a living plaintiff to get his or her day in court while they're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
In other jurisdictions,
so that must be pretty quick.
It's as I indicated, particularly because of the severity of the disease, you don't have a lot of time. Mm-hmm. In Madison County, a living man or woman with mesothelioma, the fatal form of exposure, can get a trial date generally within about 6 months from the date of filing. That's important to the family for a lot of reasons. Number one being the value or the potential threat of a lawsuit in Madison County, if you're alive, is much higher than if you're dead. There are no punitive damages, and again, as I indicated, there's reason to allege punitive damages in cases like this because there was knowledge. They knew that it could kill, and they failed to take precaution. Punitive damages aren't available if you're dead. So
They are available if you're alive?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're dead, they're not. So there's a huge incentive on the defense side to drag these cases out.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you're dead, are spouses allowed to bring suits for loss of spousal companionship?
Yes, but the value of those cases is substantially less. So why are a lot of cases brought in Madison County? Because obviously, number one, we had a lot of men who worked in industry in this area, whether it's in Madison County, in St. Clair County, in St. Louis. A lot of people manufactured raw asbestos, but the attractiveness of the Madison County is due, and it's not only Madison County. There's other places in the country that allow someone to get to trial quickly, but Madison County is one of the places where it can happen within a person's lifetime.
We got about 5 minutes left here. I thought I just heard you say that you don't have to be exposed in Madison County in order to file a case in Madison County? You said St. Louis, St. Clair County, other places.
We'd get into pretty technical explanation of
we can
the
go
rules
into the
of
weeds
civil
a little bit, but not too deep here.
You can file a lawsuit against defendants who did business in the state of Illinois or transacted business in the state of Illinois.
Okay.
That is how
Just
we can.
in the state of Illinois, and then you can file in any of the counties in Illinois?
You can, yes.
Okay.
Obviously, you want to file a lawsuit. Part of a job as a lawyer is to file a lawsuit in a place that has the capacity and the systems to move that case along as quickly as possible. Because of the historic industry in Madison County, and again, because there is a judge who's familiar with the process and the issues, both favorable to plaintiffs and not favorable to plaintiffs, the cases can be litigated fairly quickly here. So,
what elements do you have to prove? To prove to get a jury's verdict for your clients?
Generally, it's a duty, breach, cause, and damages. Generally, negligence is essentially the bottom line of what we're alleging is that they had a duty to the plaintiff, whether he was he worked on the property or for a company, that they knew he could be exposed, that they take precaution, that he or she developed a disease, and that there are damages, whether it's from lost wages or compensatory damages for medical expenses and pain and that sort of thing.
So if a company has been guilty before, then all you have to do is show that the person worked there in the same environment, and that's almost good enough? Or do you have to go through the whole process again of showing all the elements the very first time that there was a verdict?
For a particular jury, yes, you have to start from scratch in every case and prove the elements of negligence. There's no shortcuts.
So even if you're the 100th guy who worked at the same place, you got to start from the beginning with the jury and show them all the evidence.
Yes, that's correct. Every defendant gets their day in court, whether or not they've been there before. We'll use documents that they've probably seen that establish what I suggested they knew and when they knew it, but that's all done in every case that goes to trial.
Don't they just try to settle these things?
Yes, the vast majority of all cases are settled for substantially less than what we would ask a jury to award, but that's a calculus that plaintiffs' attorneys and defendants make to avoid litigation and to try to work these cases through. And I can tell you that based on my experience, the professionalism on both sides is high, and the case that represent the defendants tell me that their clients acknowledge that there were mistakes made, huge mistakes in the past, and they do take some responsibility, but they also are trying to resolve these cases in a way that makes sense for them so that they can survive and continue to employ the people that work and live in our community. So we're not trying to take
push
advantage.
Them out of business.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think, and they, on the other hand, also understand that there's a responsibility there.
Unfortunately, time flies by when we're here having fun on television. I want to thank you very much for coming and explaining from your point of view about these asbestos cases. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're very welcome. And to my audience, I've been speaking with Elizabeth Heller, an Edwardsville attorney. She deals with asbestos cases. To my regular audience, we'll see you again next Monday. Thank you.